Some of these makes are aging like fine wine. Others, kind of giving leftover takeout. Hey Stitches, it's your girl Kris. Welcome on into the channel if you're new. Welcome back to the channel if you are an OG. However you got here, wherever you are here, thank you so much for clicking on today's video. And I am going to be dropping the tea on some of the things in my wardrobe that I once loved, or at least I thought I loved, but now, I've got questions. So pass me, come here, let's have a chat. But for real, does this happen to anybody else? You make up an item, you are absolutely head over heels about it, and then after wearing it for a while, for whatever reason, it just doesn't seem to work anymore. Now, the very first make I wanted to share with you guys comes from, I think, Simplicity 9463. I hope I have it right. I'll go ahead and drop the pattern envelope in here. But this pattern, I loved it when I saw it. And I knew I had to make it. I needed one for my closet. Ask me why I decided to make the one that has like the cutout under boob situation going on. Let me just see if I can find it so I can show you guys a little bit more closely what I'm talking about. Right, here she is. When I first made her, you guys, y'all couldn't tell me nothing. Absolutely nothing. I loved it. And it didn't help that I manufactured this fabric myself. When I say manufactured, I don't mean I sat at a loom and did it. But this fabric started off as a very plain pink linen fabric, but it was imperfect. The dye, for whatever reason, hadn't taken to it as nicely as it should have. And it was uneven in some places. But instead of just discarding it or using it for scraps, I decided that I was going to add my own personal touch to the fabric, and I bleach dyed it. I put rubber bands around the fabric and I dropped it in some bleach, and this was the result. So I was very, very pleased with it. I thought it turned out quite cool and it was very unique, and I knew that nobody else would ever have my top, because even if for argument's sake they took the same pattern and for argument's sake they tried to bleach dye their fabric as well, it wouldn't come out exactly the same as this one. So kudos to me. I'll give myself a little tap on the back for coming up with that idea for what otherwise would have been wasted fabric. But you guys, I have not reached for this top as much as I would have liked to, as much as I wanted to, because I really did love the finished look. And I still quite like the finished look. I think it's a really cute silhouette. The fit is great because it has elastic in the back, which means when I get fatter and fatter and fatter, this top still fits me quite nicely. But the peekaboo situation in this area, I don't know. The first time I took photographs in this top, I happened to be wearing this bright ass lime green bra. Ask me why, I don't really have a good answer. And I was going through my pictures, and in almost every shot, there was my bra peeking out. I think I probably wore it maybe once or twice after that, probably with a different bra. I can't remember right now. And it was still peeking out, and it drives me crazy. Now, I'm not averse to showing some bra depending on what I'm wearing. If I'm wearing like a lace top, for argument's sake, you see my bra, you see my bra. But in this top, I don't think that was the idea behind the cutout. And I don't have the kind of boobs, you guys, that I can go braless. No. That is not gonna happen. Instead of having like a sexy underboob, my titties will be hitting the floor. And nobody wants that. I don't want that. My husband definitely doesn't want that. And trust me when I say, you don't want that either. So I have thought about parting with this top. I have done a couple closet clear outs since I've made it. And she has always survived a closet clear out. Maybe at the end of this year, when I do yet another cull of my wardrobe, maybe at that time I'll finally get rid of her. But what do you guys think? Do you think that this is a top that I should keep, that I should wear, even if you can see my bra? Or do you think I need to part with this version and maybe make up another version? Now, I did say that this pattern does have other options. I did not have to do the peekaboo situation. I don't know why I wanted to do the peekaboo situation because, like I said, there is no peek going on. It's all boo. Past me. What were you thinking, girl? What were you thinking? You were the Lulu, seriously, to think that your boobs would have been great in this top. Right, I'm gonna hang her back, at least for now. And then I'm gonna tell you guys about make number 2. It's actually not sitting in my wardrobe, and that is because it's a swimsuit. And that means it's stuffed somewhere in one of my drawers. And the swimsuit pattern I want to talk about is not the Megan Nielsen Goddess Flow, which you're probably thinking I want to talk about because that was my first swimsuit ever and I didn't enjoy the process of making it. It is actually an Edgewater Avenue swimsuit. I know. If you have been here for any time at all, then you know how I feel about Edgewater Avenue. I absolutely love her swimsuits. I think they're well drafted. They fit nicely. The way they're constructed, just mind-blowing in comparison to any other swimsuit pattern I've ever sewn outside of the Edgewater Avenue brand. And so it kind of breaks my heart that I even have to talk about this swimsuit today. But if I'm honest, this swimsuit also has the same issue as that last top, and it's my boobs. They just won't let me be great, you guys. Side note, when you have kids, that is one thing they don't tell you about having kids. In addition to your body not snapping back like ever, your boobs, the havoc that your children wreak on your boobs is lifelong lasting. Unless, of course, you have like some surgery or something like that. Or if you have a secret that I don't know about, please drop it down below in the comment section because my boobs are not big. They have never been big. But the problem is they're just not perky anymore. If they even once were. I'm telling myself that they were, but I know for a fact that they were hell a lot more, youthful, I guess, than they are now. And that is the problem with the Edgewater Athena swimsuit. Now, this swimsuit pattern is gorgeous. It is sexy. I loved it. And I made this pattern like 2 or maybe even 3 times. 2 of those versions I did not make for myself at all. And this version, I loved it because I had this great idea that I was going to do some print mixing. And so I did 3 combinations of black and white swimsuiting fabric. You guys, talk about another unique unsocial piece. But I wore it. And I wore it the first time actually in the backyard. My kids wanted to have like a slip and slide situation going on, just wasting my water. That's what they were doing. And they were like, Mommy, come out and join us. And trying to be fun mom, I put on my swimsuit and I went outside. I slipped down the tarpaulin. I got up and something else had slipped, you guys. My nips had slipped out of this swimsuit. Good thing only my kids were in the backyard and my husband, so I guess that saved me. But if I was anywhere else, I would have been hella embarrassed. The situation with the drawstring around the center front piece that ties around the neckline, it just doesn't hold my girls in like I need them to be held in firmly in my swimsuit. And that just was not a possibility in this particular swimsuit. And so for that reason, I don't love her as much as I thought I did. Don't get me wrong. I do like the style lines of this pattern and I really do love my fabric choices. I think they are tea, like really good. But I wish my body would do the things that I would like my body to do in the perfect world. And don't start on me. I know it's never our bodies. I know it's always the clothing. And that is why I sew, because I want to make clothing that works for my body. But again, I guess I was delusional and thought for some reason that my girls would kind of behave and that somehow they would sit perfectly on my chest in the swimsuit. And it just didn't happen. So my Edgewater Athena is giving cold pizza vibes. And that's a no. All right, moving right along, let us now talk about Butterick 6943. This is a shirt pattern, and I've actually made this pattern on 2 separate occasions. And the one I want to talk about is my first iteration of said pattern. I think it's somewhere in this wardrobe, so let me just take a peek and see if I can find it. All right, I got her. She was stuffed towards the back of my closet. And this is my Butterick 6943 circa 2024. What do you guys think of this make? Before I start rambling off about it, I would love if you would drop me a comment down below and let me know what you think on first glance. Now, you guys, I really did like the style lines of this pattern. Butterick patterns don't get a lot of rating, I don't think, in the sewing community as being particularly fashionable. But the style lines of this one caught my eye because it has some gathering for the sleeve, and the gathering starts like at the front of the bodice, goes up over the shoulder and down to the back of the bodice. And I thought that was cool. I thought that was different. And I thought it would make for a cute shirt, which would give me an opportunity to do some color blocking. So I went to Barbados and I found these 3 different colored striped fabrics. And I loved them, and my mind told me that this would make for a really cool shirt if I was able to combine them and have some print blocking, color blocking situation going on. Don't get me wrong, I do actually like the color blocking. I like the green with the blue and the pink, and I'm actually quite pleased with the placement. I think it looks nice. I think it works well together. The problem with this blouse is the fabric choice, you guys. Fabric choice absolutely matters. Do not let anybody tell you anything different. Fabric matters. Now, this one is a cotton fabric of some sort. I don't think it's a shirting, but it might be. Who knows at this point? But it's just kind of stiff, and it doesn't look expensive. No, my fabric doesn't actually have to be expensive, but I want it to look like it's good quality fabric. And I just don't think this one is. And I feel like if the fabric was better, I would probably wear this shirt a lot more, but it's not. And so I can think of maybe two times that I have worn this blouse. I think I had styled it over shorts on one occasion and over jeans, like longer jeans on a different occasion. And I almost kind of wish as well that the fabric was a little bit more drapey, so it would cave in on my body a little bit more instead of like standing out as much and making me look wider around my tummy area than I already am. And I do not need any help in that department. And so for that reason, I don't love this shirt as much as I thought I did, or I thought I would. I do love the color blocking, and I would like to do a color blocking shirt again, something quite similar with the stripes, because I also love stripes. But I need some better fabric, you guys. I really do. Now, on a side note, if you're into fabric hauls, you can find several fabric hauls here on the channel. My most recent one was actually the Minerva Autumn Fest fabric haul. I'll drop that one in here, but there are several from like all of my trips to Barbados in like the last 2 years. Don't judge me. As I said, I love good fabric, and I don't have any fabric stores local to me. And it means that whenever I want to make a project, I have to shop my own stash. So it's great to have some variety in my stash that I can choose from on a whim. But as far as this shirt goes, let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comment section. And I will ponder on her a little bit more, whether or not she will make the cut at the end of this year. But for now, I just don't love it, you guys. Moving right along, the next garment I want to talk about is actually a Mimi G Jessica dress. I actually really love this pattern, and I have made the Jessica dress in some form or another, I want to say a good 10 times. Very early on in my sewing journey, I was hella into this dress. I hacked it into different tops. I made a mommy and me dress with my daughter when she did wear dresses. I made one recently enough earlier this year. I made one in a blue and white dot and striped challis. I'll go ahead and pop that one in here because I do love that one. But the version that I'm talking about, I want to say I made it in maybe 2020, 2021, somewhere thereabouts. And looking back at my pictures, my fabric choices were questionable. Oh my goodness. What is it with me and trying to color and print block? Now I know for a fact that that dress is no longer in my closet, so I'm gonna have to go ahead and pop some pictures in. Hopefully I can find some that I can share with you guys. But I had another grand idea that I wanted this dress in a 3 different animal print color blocking situation. I had gone ahead and bought 3 different animal print fabrics from Mood Fabrics. The scales were different for one fabric. Like one fabric, the scale was much bigger. And then in the other 2 fabrics, I think they were the same print, but the colorways were like reversed or something like that. I was like, ooh, I can color block this. I can print block this. We will do like a gradient effect with the color blocking. And so I did the lighter color at the bust area, the bodice area, and the first tier, I think. And then I did a second tier in one of the other fabrics. And then the final tier was in the larger scaled print, animal print. When I finished this dress, I was having a moment, you guys. You could not talk to me. You could not tell me there was anything wrong with this dress. And I also hacked it because instead of having a button down front, I had closed off the front and I think I did a zipper up the back. Looking at it now, I'm like, Kris, what were you thinking? Seriously. I don't even know how many times I wore that dress, to be honest with you. Once it was done and I had styled it all up and taken some photographs, I was like, rawr, in my photographs. But after that, I just didn't find myself reaching for it very often. And like present me, looking at pictures of past me, I'm thinking to myself, it definitely had to be my fabric choices. Now, aside from that, I had my colors done. When did I have my colors done, you guys? I want to say it was like 2020 or 2021. So I know that this dress preceded having my colors done. And when I had my colors done, I discovered that I am a twilight winter and I should be wearing jewel toned fabrics. Now, I know some people are a little bit when it comes to like color theory and having your colors professionally done. I think that it's useful information to know what my best colors are. And I can go outside of those parameters if I choose to. But even when I go outside of those parameters, I kind of have a better idea of where I want to wear colors that don't flatter me as much, or when I want to wear colors that don't flatter me as much. I know when I want to look my best self, if there's an occasion and I want to be like bam, 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 then I'm going to be rocking a color that is on my color card, period. That has been my experience. Yours might be different, and that's completely okay. If you have been thinking about it, I would recommend that you make the investment. And yes, I said investment because it can be quite pricey. So I'll stop to say I am an ambassador for Your Color Guru, and I have been for years. And it's because I really do believe in color theory. I also have a degree in makeup artistry, and so color has always been important to me. But animal print was a little bit more important back then. I love me some animal print. And it's just not a print that comes in like a variety of colors very often. Sometimes I can find one in a different colorway that is more pleasing to my palette. But generally it is in like those browns and those oranges sort of vibe. And those are just not my colors. Try as I might, they just don't flatter me. They don't. I've seen photographs of myself in animal prints that are different colorways versus animal prints in the typical oranges and browns, and they're just not giving. It might be something in my mind that's telling me that because I know so much about color theory, but all that to say, that was a roundabout way of saying, if you want to get your colors done, use my code. It's on social. I'll pop it here on the screen. It's from Your Color Guru. And also the roundabout way of saying that this Mimi G Jessica dress just did not do it for your girl at all. Now I know better. I do better. But back then I didn't. So forgive me. She was love at some point, but I kind of guess we fell out. All right, moving on. Let us talk about Know Me 2016. Yes, I said it. Know Me 2016 had a huge moment in the sewing community, like huge. Everybody bought the pattern, everybody sewed up this pattern, and Nikki did her thing with this pattern. I think it has the potential to be like a really elevated type of dress, but for some reason, the version that I made, I just haven't gravitated to it very often. I do still have that version, I think, in my closet. So I'm going to have a quick rummage through so I can show you guys what mine looks like. Whew. I found it, you guys. I found it at the back of my closet. The way my closet is situated, I went ahead and pulled out that top. That is not relevant right now. That is actually ready to wear piece. But this is my Know Me 2016 circa 2023. And I made this one up in this gorgeous floral fabric that I got from Minerva. And I lined it with a similar kind of floral type fabric, but the base was all white. And I bought that fabric way back when in my sewing journey. I was overly ambitious and thought I wanted to make an evening wear dress using that fabric to wear to a ceremony that my husband had to attend. I was going to be his plus one. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with this fabric. And so it got relegated to the side, but I fished it out to line this dress. Now, in theory, I love this dress. When I took photos, I love this dress. I love the colors of the fabric. I loved the feel of the fabric. I loved the style lines of this dress. So tell me why I do not wear it. And I really don't have a good answer. She is well made. Look at this invisible zipper. Like, can you even tell there is an invisible zipper here? If you are weary when it comes to doing invisible zippers, then I have shared a tutorial here on the channel demonstrating how I do an invisible zipper. You might find it helpful if you do need some help when it comes to invisible zippers. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to spotlight the video here, finish watching this video first, and then go and watch that video and then save that video for whenever you have to actually put in an invisible zipper. And I can almost guarantee that if you follow the steps precisely, you will end up with a zipper that looks like this. Look at that seam, you guys. Almost perfection, if I do say so myself. And I had to be humble just now, not to say it was daggone perfect, because internally, I actually think so. But I don't know. I don't know, you guys. And this dress has pockets. And we love pockets around here. We do love pockets. So why don't I reach for this dress? I don't have a good idea. I don't have a good reason. I don't have a good answer. But this one is just not hitting it for me any longer. Maybe if I try it in a different type of fabric, even though I love this fabric, like it's not even making sense to me as I'm trying to explain it to you. So I can only imagine you sitting there quizzically looking at your screen like, what is she even talking about? But I don't know, I guess we all have things like this in our wardrobes. They look great, the patterns are great, the fabric is great, but for one reason or another, we just don't find ourselves reaching for them. And that has been the case with my Know Me 2016. Now, drop me a comment down below and let me know, do you even understand like where I'm coming from? Do I make any sense at all? If I do you think that if I try this pattern in a different fabric substrate, maybe it would get worn more? I'm curious to know what your thoughts are on this one. I'm definitely not going to part with my 2016 pattern because, as I said, in my mind, I do love this pattern. So maybe I should give it another go. Maybe I should try and redeem this pattern by making it again in a different fabric. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think of this dilemma. While you're thinking and while I'm also thinking, let us move on to another me. And the one I actually want to talk about, I don't have it in my closet anymore. And that is because I wore that top like one time, washed it one time, and it fell apart. Oh, you guys, I am talking about the Liberty Esther tunic. And I actually got the kit from Minerva as part of my Minerva ambassadorship. I am a Minerva ambassador. We're getting up to Black Friday and Christmas and all the things. In fact, Black Friday is probably tomorrow if this video makes it on the channel on Thanksgiving. If it did, happy Thanksgiving to my American subscribers. We down here, we don't have Turkey Day. I guess we're meant to be thankful every day, but can we trade places? Because I can do with a good meal right now and some extra sewing time. But anyways, if you're shopping tomorrow and you want to get anything from Minerva, then make sure to go ahead and use my Minerva ambassador code. I'll go ahead and pop it here on the screen. It doesn't cost you anything extra, but it does guarantee me just a little bit of extra change in my pocket so I can keep getting fabrics and keep bringing to you these types of videos. Now back to the Esther tunic. The Esther tunic, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't have anything like it in my closet, and I was like, okay, let me go ahead and give it a go. So I did put in a request from Minerva to get a kit. Now with the kit, there were different fabric choices, and I went ahead and chose a different fabric. I can't remember what type of fabric it is right now, but I know that the one I got was not the one that I had chosen. Now my fabric handler, that's what I call Gavin over at Minerva, reached out to me after I had received the kit, and I had said, I got the kit, but this is not the fabric that I chose. And they did offer to send me at the time the fabric that I chose. And I was like, let's not do that. It's going to take a year and a day to get here to me here on the island. And I wanted to get my teeth stuck into this pattern. So I made it. I made it in the fabric that they sent me. And it was okay, I guess. When I had it on, I was like, okay, I could probably make this one work. It wasn't in those jewel tones that I knew I loved, but it wasn't the worst of the worst, I guess. And I made it up, and when I tried it on, I was like, ooh, actually, she looks good. She looks good. And I styled it up, and I took my photographs. I'm like, surprise, surprise, Kristen. You like this. And then I washed it. And when I washed it, and I took it out to press it, and the V cut out at the front was gone. Now, the way this pattern comes together, I hated it. The V cut out situation at the front, it's one of those ones that I think you have to cut into and then spread apart and then like stitch it or whatever. And you have to stitch really, really close to the cut line. And I did, and I reduced my stitching as I always do when I have to make these types of plackets. These are very often on like cuffs or whatever, like that slip placket, whatever. And I thought I stitched close to the cut mark, but this fabric frayed. And I guess it didn't like being cut so close. And so there was a little hole right at the front, and you could see like the frayed bits. And I was like, oh man, no. And then because of where it was right above like the boob area at the front, like it's bang on in the center of my chest, I didn't feel comfortable wearing it like that because I'm like, everybody can see that there's something wrong with my blouse. And I think too that the tassel or the cord that I had used, the ends of the cord had frayed out as well in the wash, and it means that I would have to like snip one of the cords, and then it would either be longer than the other one, and obviously that would be weird, so I would have to snip the other one, and then they would be really, really short. And I was like, oh, this top is ruined. One wear and she's dead. So I personally don't think that fabric and pattern combination were the best, just because the fabric was so soft and it really was really drapey and nice fabric. It was like butter in my mind, but it just didn't take nicely to the construction of this particular blouse. Now, maybe I should have added some interfacing at the back before I cut it out. No, my now self knows that that was a possibility then, but I don't think I did that. And so for those reasons, I don't love this blouse anymore. I don't even have this blouse anymore because what would be the point? I don't even think I gave it away because I don't want to do anybody like that. If I'm going to give away something, it's something that is still in good condition, but whatever reason I don't wear it anymore, that's fine. But if it's something that has a defect that I know cannot easily be remedied. I mean, like a button, if it pops off, go ahead and sew back on a button, girl. If I'm giving you a free shirt, find yourself some buttons. But in this case, with the V situation, it just wasn't a good look for me, and I don't think it would have been right to gift it to anybody else. So needless to say, that was love, but it's no longer love. That one is giving like stale milk. You know, the ones with the clumps on the inside. Ew. All right, so the last garment I want to talk about comes from the Big Five, and it is McCall's 80/30. Now, I made McCall's 80/30 a couple years ago. I'm losing count once again, and it was a collaboration that I had done with my girl Tino from So Star Tino. Truth be told, Tino is much more into golf these days than sewing, and I haven't seen her posting anything on her Instagram account in the last 2 or 3 years or so. But back then she was an avid sewist and we hit it off on the internet streets. We quickly became Instagram friends and we went on a collaborative effort with McCall's 80/30. We decided that we would showcase how different fabrics could make one pattern look very different. And I decided to make up my M80/30 in a striped fabric. I'm thinking that she might be in my closet still, but I am gonna pause once again and have a rummage through and see if I can find her. Then I'll be back. All right, here we go. Meet my McCall's 80/30 circa 2021. Now, this dress has survived many a closet clear out. I like this dress. I love this fabric. Truth is, it's not a jewel tone fabric. It's pastel colored, but some of these colors work nicely on my color card, I think. And I loved the playing with the stripe directions for this make. And she's really, really well made. And she has held up very, very nicely over time. And if I'm completely honest with you, I have worn this dress quite a lot. I wear it to work. I usually put a belt on with it, particularly on days when nobody's going to see me anyway, other than my staff, like my immediate staff. It's not really a big deal on those days. There are some times when I want to be like tea, really, really dressed up, feeling myself, having a moment. And then there are other days when I just don't give a damn, if I'm absolutely honest with you. And on some of those days, I wear dresses like this that are comfortable, that are well made nonetheless. And to the untrained eye, probably look great. But I know secretly deep down, this dress could be better. So what do you ask is the problem? It is the fit of this dress. Did you hear what I said I made it in 2021, and my fitting journey has leveled up 10 times over between 2021 and now. Now I feel like I have a really, really good appreciation of how I want my clothes to fit me and the steps that I have to take to achieve that type of fit. I know it's not a big deal for everybody out there, but it is a big deal to me, and I spend a lot of time tweaking my patterns to fit my body. So if you need help with fitting adjustments, you will find tutorials here on the channel. I think I have a whole playlist with different fitting adjustments. Some of them are not as tricky as you probably think they are. And I would definitely implore you, if for 2026, one of your sewing goals is to level up your fitting techniques, then I definitely think you should go ahead and check those playlists out. And also leave me a comment and let me know if there is a particular fitting adjustment that you would like to see here on the channel. Now, in all honesty, I am not professionally trained, and that means I don't know every single fitting adjustment that there is. like identifying it and actually doing it. But so far as my body is concerned, I now have a great appreciation. Still not perfect. I still don't always get it right. Sometimes I make something and after I wear it for a little while, I say, it could be tweaked a little bit more by doing something else. But for the most part, I think I'm off to a really, really great start. Not that you can really call it a start anymore. Anyways, I digress. As I was saying, the problem with this dress is the fit. Now, the dress fits me quite nicely from my waistline come up. I had made some fitting adjustments on it. I had done a full bust adjustment, even though it's a loosey-goosey dress. It does have some gathering here at the yoke. And I have gone on and on and on in previous videos about how important a full bust adjustment is, not only to add width so you don't end up like with squashed pancake boobs, but to add length so you don't end up with your blouses or your dresses like hiking up at the front and longer in the back and looking very unbalanced on you, because the mound of tissue is dragging the length of your garment upwards. So yes, I did do a full bust adjustment on this dress. I also did some adjustments to like the shoulder area. I do have sloping shoulders and all that jazz. But at that time, I did not figure out that I needed to do a hollow hip adjustment. Now, I don't know if this is actually a real adjustment or if it's something that I sort of conceptualized in my own head, but it is an adjustment that I have done relentlessly over the past couple of years, where I'm decreasing the length at the side seam on my skirts, right at like the hip line, similar to how you would do a sway back adjustment, but instead of the length being taken up at the center back of my skirt, I take it up at the side seams because I have found that the length of my side seams below my hip often are too long in patterns as drafted. I don't know if it's because I have knock knees. I don't know if it's because I don't have a lot of hip at all, and I actually have hip dips instead. So instead of like curving outwards, it kind of goes out and then there's like a dip. It's weird, but whatever. And I have figured out that by doing this adjustment and removing a 1/4 inch in length from my side seam at my hip level, my skirts in like pencil skirts and A-line skirts, they cave in, like they come down and then they cave in like this. And that is what happens when I wear this dress. And because it's striped, I can see it. I didn't see it back then, but I can see it now. And all the fabric just goes in like this at my knees. And I hate it. When I wear a belt, I can sort of like pull up the fabric at my side seam a little bit and it doesn't look as obvious. But whenever I try to wear this dress without a belt, it's like bam in my face and I cannot unsee it. And now I know that I should have done that adjustment. Again, I didn't know it then, but I do know it now. And so I am going to take the time now to make these types of adjustments. But otherwise than that, I like this shirt dress pattern and I do quite like making shirts. I like doing colors, something about sewing a collar. I find it therapeutic. The collar stand, not so much, but the actual color, I really do love it. So I'm thinking about this pattern and making it again. Maybe I should give it a second lease on life. Very recently, I have been exploring patterns that I have made in the past and I loved them, but either I don't wear them anymore, like this one, because fitting issues or fabric choices or whatever, or I love them so much that I want to have like a second version. So I've so far shared on the channel a patina blouse that I made once again very recently, a sagebrush top, another Friday Pattern Company top. It wasn't planned that way, it kind of just worked out that way, and I shared both of them here on the channel. I will leave them down below in the description box so you can find them. I'll probably go and pop one in here as well for ease of like clicking or whatnot. And I also have another 2 in progress. You can kind of see one right here if you're very eagle-eyed. I'm not going to hold it up and show you because I don't want to ruin the surprise. But my dress farm, Christina, she's laid up, you guys. She has like 3 different garments on her. And this is a garment, one of them that I started in, I want to say March, as part of my fabric roulette challenge. That one went completely down the toilet. I I really thought I was going to do better, but I haven't been able to stick to it. And so I've got an unfinished dress from that on my dress form. And then over that, I have a butterick dress that I did not complete because of the binding situation. I share that one here on the channel too. I'll pop that link in here. If I have exceeded the amount of links I can pop in, then I'll drop it down below in the description box so you can find it. Another dress that I loved, didn't finish because, I don't know, I made a boo-boo or something like that. And then on top of that is my cashmerette hat and jacket that I do love. I love it, love it, love it, love it. And I did share that one here on the channel as well. That one was meant to be a fleece jacket. I don't live somewhere where fleece is even a thing. Like, what would I be doing with fleece when it's 29 degrees in the heart of November? In other places, you guys have the chill factor going on. It never gets that cold here. Never, ever, ever. And so I switched things up and made it in a completely different fabric. And I was really, really pleased with that one. I loved it then. I still love it now. And I'll go ahead and pop the video in here. But I love this one. And she deserved to be on Christina, but I just couldn't be bothered to strip her down. So I just put it on a hanger and sort of hung it up here in the wardrobe. And I'm hoping that I can do a little bit of work on it once I finish this video, and that I can come back and report to you guys really, really soon about it, because, look at that. Isn't she gorgeous? She completely stole the spotlight from my 80/30, but that's okay because I think you guys fully appreciate what I have been saying. The problem with this one is not the pattern, it's the fit of the pattern. It's not my body either, it's just the fit of that pattern on my body as is needs a little bit of extra help from your girl. So I definitely need to think about making this one again. Right. There you had it, you guys. A trip down memory lane or wardrobe lane, looking at some of the things in my closet that I loved at one point. But as you can see, fabric choices, fit issues, the boobs, these are things that have sort of changed my relationship with these items over the years. And I think you guys can appreciate that. We want to love all the things that we make, but it is okay to admit, I think, when something just no longer works. It's probably not even the pattern. In many of these instances, there was nothing at all wrong with the pattern. None of them. None of them. It's just, they just don't work for me anymore. Think like chicken wings that have been sitting in your fridge for like 2 weeks, uneaten. Yeah, that's the kind of vibe. You probably loved them when you started eating them. You chucked them in the fridge and said, oh, I'll finish them later, and then forgot about them until 2 weeks later you pull them out and it's full of mold. All right. Maybe that's a little bit too drastic, but you guys get the point. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, it's something a little bit different, but it's something that I thought would be fun, and I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed it as well. If you did, be sure to go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Do not forget, I know it's very easy to skip doing the thumbs up because, like, if you're watching your videos on the television, for argument's sake, or maybe you're multitasking and you're sewing and watching me ramble on, then sometimes we forget to go ahead and click that like button. But I'm imploring you guys, please, go ahead and click the like button if you did like this video. No pressure if you did not. I don't want you clicking on it just because. I want you to click on it because you did like it. And you want to show your girl that you enjoyed this type of video and would love to see other videos similar to this one. Now, drop me some comments down below. Let me know, what do you think about the items that I showed you? Do you have any that stood out to you for any particular reason? Is there any item from my closet that I showed you today that you think I should invest the time to remake, choose different fabrics, work on my fit technique and that sort of thing, and then bring them back in a sort of glow up video? Let me know down below in the comment section as well. And let me know whether you also have things in your wardrobe that you used to love, but you just don't reach for any longer. I'm always curious to find out what you guys are doing on your end, not just to listen to me talk here on my end. So let us go ahead and move the conversation from off the screen to down below in the comment section. Now, if you have gotten this far in today's video, why are you not a subscriber? There is no reason for you not to be subscribed. You sat and you listened to me rabble on for like 30 minutes of your life. And so that should mean that you do want to join my YouTube sewing family. So as a gentle reminder, just go ahead and click the subscribe button and make sure to turn your notifications on as well. That is everything I needed to share with you for today's video. I will be back hopefully on Sunday to share with you guys a pattern hack that I have done that has been sitting on my chair for the last, I want to say, 3 months. I have not worn it. I have not photographed it, but I want to explain. So make sure you come back on Sunday to check that one out. Until then, stay calm, stay cool, stay safe, and absolutely keep sewing. Peace.